Manchester United could be up for sale. The Glazers have to sell, according to Manchester United legend and, of course, Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville. He has claimed that, and we'll put his quote up here, that it may be, I might be completely wide of the mark, but my gut feeling is the Glazers have to sell. They've committed to a new plan and stadium redevelopment, and the costs are substantial. I can't see them raising further debt at the required level. The timing feels right to sell, and this will have Manchester United fans everywhere excited. But what is the truth within this? We saw a big report from the Mail a few days ago that a price of £3.75 billion could be put on Manchester United by the Glazers, and this could tempt some interest from Dubai. There's a lot of talk of dissatisfaction from the Glazers towards broadcasters such as Sky Sports, the likes of Gary Neville speaking out about them. The Glazer out movement has lost a little bit of its zip. It has lost a little bit of its noise. But with the fans being censored in the ground, with the broadcasters now starting to soften their approach and talk less and less about the ownership and more about what's going on the field of play, Manchester United fans have to put more pressure now than ever upon the Glazers to sell. But is the Glazer out movement losing, as I say, that zip? Is it losing its connection? Are fans already getting a little bit bored with it? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings this morning on the Done Deal show. But the Glazers could be about to sell Manchester United, according to Gary Neville. And we're going to delve into why, just why that could be true. It's been a very interesting few weeks for Manchester United. Some people not being quite able to put their finger on how this turnaround, very short turnaround, long way to go, in results have gone. The opening two games of the season, you very much expected Manchester United to find themselves in, I wouldn't say realistically a relegation battle, but in fact, if we didn't work hard in games, who knows? But definitely a battle to finish in the top half of the league. And there was a hell of a lot of fear, worry, and concern at Manchester United. Now, what's interesting is that because of those two poor results, the Manchester United owners and Glazers sanctioned the spending of more money. But why? A very interesting passage in The Athletic claims that there are people close to Man United who wonder where the money is coming from and worry about the wider picture. Certainly, it will not be United's owners opening their wallets in the way that we've seen at Man City and Chelsea. Do the executive talks with Apollo Global Management, a private equity company, have any relevance? Would the Glazers consider placing more debt upon the club? Well, according to Gary Neville, he doesn't see them putting their debt up. And when you listen to the report here from Chris Winterburn, the Glazer family members are pushing for Avran and Joel to sell, trying to ignite a bidding war. Man United fans should stand against a state takeover from Dubai, but it wouldn't be in the best interest of the clubs. It has to be fit and proper consortium with sort of good intentions. And that's a different conversation for a different day as to whether or not ownership from the Middle East is right or wrong. I mean, the fact that the Newcastle have got it, I don't think you're going to get very many Man United fans say, well, I don't want it. They'll just say, well, if it's good for the goose, it's going to be good for the gander. That's another conversation for another day. The majority of Man United fans do want Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Elon Musk to buy the club, someone of that ilk, and we know that. But the club spent more money than it had budgeted for. How? The club has got plans to rejuvenate, extend the stadium, improve the training ground. How are they going to financially afford this? The club can't afford it. With the levels of debt and the money taken out of the club each year by the Glazers, the club has no capacity to spend its own money to do these things. So it needs investment or they need to sell. And with the report coming out that there is potentially around the potential price being around 3.75 billion, this could be the beginning of the end for the Glazers. And this is what Man United fans need to focus on here, that this really could be it. But the pressure has to be maintained by fans. The pressure on the brands, on the sponsors, taking as much money away as possible. Some are doing that. Some will go to the ground, and that's their choice, and that's their right, and they will shout and cheer. And how we know the Glazers are feeling pressured by a few interesting things. The first thing, we'll come on to Sky in a minute. The first thing is this here. Take a look at this disgraceful behavior by Man United Football Club. What's actually going on here, and what you can see is stewards, and we'll just we will rewind this slightly. We'll just bring this back. Stewards taken away. We'll go back a little further. The Glazer out flags that were up. Stewards taking down Glazer out flags, silencing the fans at the stadium. And this hasn't been the only element of censoring that has gone on at Manchester United in recent times. We have seen Sky Sports and the club themselves null out and mute Glazer out chanting. There's very little mention from the commentators in the previous home game of the Glazer out chanting, which was the loudest that it's been in over a decade. And this is very troubling for a lot of people. It's troubling for a lot of people because they feel that, why is Sky doing this? Well, we know why Sky are doing this. As an example, Sky Sports are doing this for one simple reason. Man United have not restricted access to the club for any of its reporters, but they have expressed unhappiness at some of Sky's criticism of the Glazers. So Sky Sports are starting to feel the pressure. Man United are complaining to them. They're complaining to the Premier League, and they're putting pressure upon upon Sky Sports to quieten things down. There was a protest outside the stadium at the weekend. No coverage on it at all, really, by Sky News, or anybody of any note. They got the megastore shut down again. Thousands of Man United fans protesting. Now, whether you're someone that thinks protest works or not, the fact that Sky are not reporting on this, BT Sport are not reporting on this, is very telling. This is pressure coming from the club. They're taking down flags. They're muting out chants from fans. They're doing everything in their power to silence it. And this is one of the reasons why particular content creators will not join any tough movements against the Glazers, boycotting grounds, advocating people not to renew season tickets, not buying merchandise. They won't advocate this now, canceling TV subscriptions. They're not going to do that because some of these content creators work for the broadcasters. So they're never going to go against their employees who pay them a wage that support their families. And we completely and utterly understand that. But this is a time more than ever for Man United fans to stand up. And this is very much my call to action in many ways. It's great to see Gary Neville speaking the way he does. It really, really is great to see this from Gary Neville. It's great to see that there are opportunities and price tags being set. Whether you want the owners from the Emirate of Dubai, whether you want Jim Ratcliffe, the fact that the Glazers could be tempted to sell and that the owners and family members of the Glazers are pushing for the club to be sold. The club, of course, have spent money, and a lot of experts don't quite know where it's come from. So the hope is that the Glazers are putting the club into the most attractive position possible to be sold at this point. 3.75 billion quite literally represents 3.75 billion profit for the Glazers. They've not invested one singular cent, penny, dime, euro, Turkish lira, nothing, not one speck, not one quantum, not one slither of money into this club themselves. And they're about to walk away with 3 plus, I don't know what it'll work out after tax. I'm sure they'll work out a way of selling it and putting it in the right places to minimize how much tax they pay. But they're going to walk away with billions of pounds of profit from this. And it is very, very frustrating indeed. But the fans have got to keep the pressure up. Keep protesting if that's your chosen choice. Keep boycotting if that's your chosen choice. Both if you decide to do it. But keep it going. Celebrate the wins. Praise the team. Because actually, I think we need things to look as attractive as possible on the outside to new owners. And if we're winning football matches, and if fans are happy with what's going on the pitch because of what Ten Hag has been able to change and temporarily get the Glazers to do for him, we need to maintain that, but keep putting pressure on these owners. Don't stop the Glazer out hashtags. Don't stop the Sir Jim Ratcliffe hashtags. Keep pushing this agenda. Don't allow yourselves to get caught up in the euphoria of winning and not focus on the bigger picture. Now, I have reached out to the content creators to help us all come together and try and push this out. And the responses haven't been great. And I have pixelated and blurred out who these responses are from because I'm not about creating beef. I'm not about having a go at people, but we are not going to get content creators to come together and sort of cross purposes, go across to each other's platforms and push the notion. Now, a lot of the reasons that have been given are I just want to do it on my own channel, or I've had threats before, or some one of the comments was around, I pride myself in integrity, and it reads like I'm only saying what it reads like, that certain Man United content creators don't have good enough integrity for them to kind of work with them, as an example. And listen, like I've always said, I respect everybody's decisions. Equally, the content creators that are working for the broadcasters, that are working for, connected to sponsors of Man United, I don't expect them to endorse or work with me when my notion is we should boycott the football club and pull all money away. Like, why? They're not going to damage their careers. They're not going to damage the direction that they're going in as content creators, as TV presenters, as celebrities, whatever it is they're chasing. And I stand by this. I'll call it out for what it is. That will be there's two reasons. There's, they don't want to damage their career and or their channel and brand, because that's more important to them. And that's absolutely fair. And I think we have to respect people that want to put their business and their career choices above a certain type of activism, either being directly or indirectly involved with online. It's absolutely fair. Secondly, um, I want to put this in the right way. There will be some content creators that just don't want to share platforms with others. They're scared of losing followers. Oh, what if I have Joe Blogs on my channel, or I go on Joe Blogs' channel and my viewers prefer him to me or her to me, and they start watching their content more than mine? Oh, what if? And again, that's another way of protecting your business, or trying to grow your business. So they're the real reasons. So when you hear Man United fans talk, like content creators talk about, oh, I'm willing to work with anyone, they're not. I direct messaged every single Man United content creator I could find that doesn't already come on the Terrace. Does that make sense? So the Kazes of this world, the Neeks of this world, the Leas is, I didn't need to DM them because I know they'll do it. But every other YouTuber, they got a DM and or a text message from me. Some didn't even reply, but they read it. I WhatsApp some of them. I got the blue ticks. They didn't respond, and it was very much a, this is what I'm looking to do. We can create a different channel. I want to create that. And my reason for wanting to do it was very simple. My reason for wanting to do it was because I felt that you might have, and I'm just using names here, Adam McCullough's group that watch him might buy into why McCullough's way is the right way of doing things. But maybe you could, maybe him talking to my audience will change my audience's view on the right thing to do, which gets more people pushing in the right direction. So I feel like a civil discourse between ideas, but keeping the notion of Glazers out together is an important thing to do. You might have one guy who's a content creator whose audience don't really buy into Glazer out. They don't think the Glazers are a problem. But they may sit there and listen to two other very influential, very credible, very respected United creators talk about why it's important to push back against the Glazers, and suddenly 40, 50,000 new people join the movement. That's why I think it's important. But I do respect that some content creators just don't want to do it. And as I say, they were sent messages. These are some of the replies that I got from people, and I do respect them. It's the reason why, I'm not going to like share their names, share who they are, or anything along those lines, because I want to keep that private. But people have been calling me out. The reason I'm showing these, but pixelating who they're from, is because I've had a lot of accusations that I haven't reached out to people privately. I'm just doing this for clout. That isn't the case at all. I even said in the messages to each person that if you don't want to work with me, but you still want to create with others, I'll step away, but I'll still share the content. I'll still push the content. I'll still be supportive of it. It's not about me growing or me being the big I am. It's about the only important thing here, which is getting the Glazers out of Manchester United. But look, the creators coming together isn't going to happen for multiple reasons with different people. But you, the United fans watching, need to keep pushing hard, 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 hard on this. You really, really do. But listen, everybody, this could be good news coming for Man United if Gary Neville is right. Let's keep the pressure up as a fan base on them. As always, make sure you're leaving your comments below. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.